Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Bonedo Vintage series. Today's topic is all about Camco snare drums. Yeah, what can we say about Camco? Wow, difficult actually. It's a legendary brand. To many, maybe the best sounding drums and maybe best built vintage drums on the market. They are not as famous as, for example, Ludwig or Premier or Rogers or Gretsch or whatever. However, they have quite a legacy, and Camco is probably for many, the reference when it comes to vintage drums. What do we have today? We do have a 14 by 6.5 chrome over brass 8 luck snare drum and a 14 by 6.5 wooden shelled 10 luck Aristocrat snare drum. I think this is also called the 452 according to the Camco catalog. Both of the snares here are made in Los Angeles, so they do have the Los Angeles cloud badge. Some pieces about Camco history. It's quite a, let's say, sad chapter of vintage drum history. Why sad? The company got sold 3 times over the course of time. First, they were built in Oaklawn, and then in Chanute. What those sets have in common are the shells, which were all made by Jasper. So Oaklawn and Chanute Camcos do have the Jasper shells. Then again, the company got sold again to Los Angeles. And that's what we have here today, Camco Los Angeles. Compared to the Oaklawn and Chanute Camcos, the shells of the Los Angeles era are made by Keller, the wooden shell snare drums. I don't know who made the metal shells, but the wood shells were definitely made by the Keller company, who also built the shells for Rogers, for instance. Specifications, well, the snares here are quite similar. Depth is the same, both 6.5. The number of lugs, I mentioned it before, is different. Those here has 8 lugs. Those here has 10 lugs. Head-wise, on the chrome over brass, we do have a regular remote control sound. Ambassador Hazy on the bottom. As a snare wire, I do use stainless steel wires by the Wahan drum company. On the wooden shelled snare drum here, we do have an Aquarian texture coated on the top, classic clear on the bottom, and Canopus vintage unchromed snare wires. Some more words to the specifications. I'm missing the original throw-off on the chrome over brass here. The original throw-off is present on the wooden shell snare drum here. Why? Actually, the throw-off, the Camco throw-off, the original one, is very, very bad. And the construction is, well, even worse. It was never able to work properly because the construction and the materials that they used were very, very inferior. So most of the used Camco snares that you can find today on the used market, which is a very, very difficult undertaking actually, will have a different snare throw-off. Simply because of the fact that this thing here is really horrible. Luckily, I was able to build new parts for that throw-off here together with my dad. And we found a way to make this thing work here again as new. So this thing here is now totally road compatible, and it works very, very smoothly and flawlessly. And this is something which I'm personally I'm very, very proud of, that we managed to find a solution. Maybe one day I will also be able to find a, let's say, okay working one for the chrome over brass thing here. However, it's a difficult undertaking because most of the throw-offs really were discarded a very, very long time ago by working drummers. Well, we do have a chrome over brass shell here. Actually, I do not know the exact measurements of the shell. I need to figure this out at some point, but what I can say is the shell itself is quite heavy and quite steady. It's very, very well built. The lugs here are looking identical to the ones by DW, which is not a surprise as DW bought the machines from Camco when Camco was finished in the late 70s. The lugs are completely made out of brass, chrome brass, very, very high quality, as it was always the case with Camco drums. The wood shell here, specialty, has 10 lugs. However, the shell is very, very, very undersized. So this is not 14-inch diameter. It's more like 13.5 or even 13.14. I'm not quite sure. It's very, very, very undersized. The bearing edges on this one are quite special too. They are quite sharp. I've never seen really actually bearing edges like this again on modern drums, so this was quite a Camco specialty. Wooden shells on the inside were hand sanded and then oiled, and everything on Camco drums was literally built by hand. Because the Los Angeles factory, it was not really a factory, I was told that it was more or less a little custom shop where you could go and you could order a drum to your exact specifications, and that's the reason why they are so rare. Another Camco exclusive is the so-called warm dampening unit, which you can turn here and then moves to the head like a worm. So that's why it's called worm dampening unit. Also quite special. I'm not quite sure if this thing is steady. The drum has it. I'm quite happy to have it. But I don't know if that thing is built for an eternity. But anyway, it's a nice gimmick, and it's nice to have it on the drum. Yeah, amazing. Both of them. The chrome over brass has a very, very fat sound. However, it has lots of cut, as it's always the case with brass shelled snare drums. They have a certain thing. It's like when you're hitting a Black Beauty. They have a special sound when you hit the rims. They sound very sweet, very cutting, on the same time very warm, very, very fat. We tried 2 tunings with this thing here, and I can't honestly say which one sounds better, actually. I like the high tuning a lot. I do like the low tuning a lot. This is really a great all-round sounding snare drum. Which shines really in every tuning. Many studio drummers definitely swear on Camco, and I do understand why they do it. The chrome over brass thing here really has lots of power and lots of strength. What I also like is no matter how hard you hit it, it has a crack, but the sound is never exhausting. It's not like, you know, when you hit a rim shot very hard that it's like, oh my God, what is this? It always sounds pleasant in the room and on the recording, and it's definitely a studio weapon. Same applies to that colleague here. I mentioned before, the shell is quite undersized, so that thing here has a very, let's say, characteristical sound due to the undersized shell. So it's a bit more timpani sounding. It sounds really like a small timp with snare wires. Difficult to describe. It may sound odd to some of you, but that's how I feel it. It's very loud, has a lot of projection. Also lots of power, very, very woody, very warm, very sweet, and that's why we all love maple. And also a very, very, very nice studio weapon. I know that some drummers even today swear on the wooden shelled Aristocrat Camco snares. I understand why. It's loud, it's powerful, it does not have any disturbing overtones not so much ring actually, but still the ring is there, but it's not overly present. Yeah, wonderful sounding snare drum. Get one if you can. Prices on the used market. Oh, well, okay. Difficult topic. At least in Germany, they are nearly impossible to find. You can find the chrome over brass ones here more easily than the wooden shelled ones. They sell for around, let's say, 700 to 800 or even for, let's say, 1,000 euros when the original throw-off is present. So they are not as expensive as the wooden shelled ones. The wooden shelled ones are really very, very difficult to find, especially the ones with 10 lugs. And yeah, it's very, very difficult to establish a price for that drum here. I saw one sold actually for 2,000 euros a few weeks ago. However, there was no original throw-off present, and it had a lot of additional holes. So this now applies to both of them. They are not easy to find, but if you have the chance to grab one, grab them while you can. There are not many of them on the market, and it's definitely a special piece of the vintage drum history. Okay, that's it for today. Feel free to hit the subscribe button below, or if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, feel free to put them down in the comment box below. Until then, see you next time and bye bye!